you thought something would feel different. Some morning where you wake up and the air just hits different. Maybe someone would call. Maybe there'd be some kind of ceremony, a notification, a sign, something. But no, your phone doesn't ring. Your boss still emails you at 8 p.m. like it's normal. Your coworker's still complaining about gas prices in the break room. And you're sitting there, looking at the number in your account, thinking, that's it? That's not disappointment. That's confirmation you did it right. Because real financial freedom doesn't make noise. There's no ceremony, no confetti, no one slow claps from the back of the room. No LinkedIn post gets 50,000 impressions from the words, "I finally hit my number." And that is exactly why it works. In 1913, a comic strip started running in American newspapers called Keeping Up with the Joneses. It followed a middle-class family trying to match the lifestyle of their richer neighbors. Bigger house, better car, nicer clothes. The result was more debt and less peace. The strip ran for 28 years because nobody read it and thought it was about someone else. Everyone thought it was about them. That was over 100 years ago. The mechanism hasn't changed. We just swapped the newspaper for Instagram, swapped the neighbors for influencers, swapped the Joneses for whoever you're scrolling past at 11 p.m. wondering why your life looks less put together than theirs.
A 2024 study found that 65% of Instagram users made impulse purchases. Not because they needed the thing, because they needed to feel like they weren't falling behind. And 40% of those people reported debt from exactly those purchases. 70% of Gen Z says comparison-driven spending is a real problem for them. The algorithm didn't accidentally create that. It was engineered.
Here's the thing about comparison. It's not a character flaw. It's a survival instinct. Your brain is wired to track your position in the group, because back when the group was 30 people, falling behind meant getting left at the campfire. The problem is your group now is 3 billion people, all posting the highlight reel. Your brain processes that signal the same way it processed the tribe. Your wallet pays the price.
Meet Marcus. Marcus is 34. He does HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. The kind of job where white-collar guys in the elevator give him a look. No college degree, shift work, permanently has something under his fingernails. Marcus doesn't upgrade his phone every year. His car is a 2009. He's never been to Tulum. He doesn't own an espresso machine that costs more than a flight to Europe. He has essentially nothing to post. But Marcus has $430,000 in his investment account. And that account is growing every single day, including while he sleeps.
Here's how it works. Every payday, before Marcus touches anything, 30% gets routed automatically to a low-cost index fund. Not because he has iron willpower, because he designed the system so that willpower isn't required. The money moves before he sees it. You can't spend what you can't see. That's not discipline. That's engineering. Year 1, nothing happens. The account is small and quiet. Basically a piggy bank with extra steps. His coworkers bought new trucks. Marcus bought nothing. Nobody in his life said, "Good call." Year 3, the returns start to outpace the monthly contributions. That inflection point has no sound. No notification, no confetti. It's just a number in an app that nobody at Marcus's job is asking about. The people asking Marcus questions at work are asking things like, "You going to the game this weekend?" Not, "Hey, how's your portfolio rebalancing going?" Which is fine. That silence is load-bearing.
Here's what school doesn't tell you. Compound interest isn't linear. It's boring for 5 years. Then it gets alarming. $430,000, growing at a historical average of 7% per year, throws off $30,000 annually without Marcus doing anything. That's $2,500 a month from nothing, from a system he set up and mostly ignores. Essentially, Marcus hired his money to work for him, and his money is a better employee than anyone he's ever met. Now here's the domino that kills most financial plans: lifestyle creep. Every time his coworkers got a raise, they got a nicer apartment, leased a better car, added subscriptions. Their expenses rose at exactly the rate their income rose, so their net worth went nowhere. Marcus got raises too, but every raise went into the investment rate, not the spending rate. The gap between him and his coworkers isn't measured in months. It's measured in decades.
The guy in the office who looks at Marcus like he's behind, the one in the BMW, is paying $800 a month to drive to a building he doesn't own, to sit in meetings with people he doesn't particularly like, to fund a lifestyle he didn't consciously choose. That's not success. That's subscription-based identity. Who's behind?
You're already typing the comment. $300 a month won't get you to financial freedom. The math doesn't work. Fair. If you put $300 a month into a savings account for 10 years, you end up with roughly $36,000. That doesn't change your life. That's a used car. You're right. But $300 a month into an S&P 500 index fund for 30 years, at the historical average return of 10% per year, gets you to $678,000. The difference isn't the amount, it's the vehicle. Saving parks your money. Investing puts it to work. Most personal finance content talks about cutting lattes, but never explains the actual mechanism that creates wealth. That's not an accident. Financially confused people are better customers.
Theodore Roosevelt famously said, "Speak softly and carry a big stick." The genuinely wealthy apply that to money with almost religious consistency. A $4 million net worth guy drives a 16-year-old car. Investment managers overseeing billions describe their clients as custodians of the money. They don't see it as theirs to spend. They see protecting and growing it as their role.
The quiet isn't modesty. It's the strategy.
Here's the statistic that should bother you. 67% of Americans say reaching financial independence is important to them. But of the people who haven't reached it yet, 54% believe they never will. Those two numbers live in the same country, same economy, same interest rates, and the gap between them isn't income, it's not luck, it's not who your parents were. The gap is visibility.
The people who move fastest toward financial freedom aren't the highest earners. They're the ones who exit the comparison game first and do it quietly, without announcing it. When you stop needing someone to notice the new car, you stop buying the new car. When you stop needing the vacation to look impressive, you start picking vacations you actually want, instead of vacations that perform well on a grid. When you mute the noise, the numbers start talking. Now, the objection I can already hear. Easy to say if you don't have kids. Easy to say if your parents let you live rent-free. That's not wrong. Not everyone starts from the same place, and any video that pretends otherwise is lying to you. But here's what is true, regardless of your starting point. Comparison is eating your money no matter what you earn. The person making $45,000 is spending to match the person making $80,000. The person making $80,000 is spending to match the $150,000 crowd. The latter has no natural endpoint, unless you decide to step off it.
You don't need perfect conditions to start. You need to start before conditions are perfect. And when you do start, expect the other thing nobody warns you about. When someone near you escapes the system, the people still inside need an explanation for why they haven't. That's where you get, he could do it because he had help. She had advantages. That doesn't work for people like us. That's not analysis. That's a psychological defense mechanism. The moment someone exits, the remaining players retroactively rewrite the rules so the exit wasn't valid.
There was a guy, retired at 50, wrote a comment that got 137 likes, said he bought and sold multiple houses over his life, took annual vacations, drove decent cars, did things he could afford. He said, "I always paid myself first and invested." That's not a monk story. That's not live on rice and sadness.
That's just someone who understood which game he was actually playing and didn't let Instagram change the rules mid-play. The genuinely free people don't look like what freedom is supposed to look like. That's the whole point. Don't wait for their permission to leave. Here's the one thing financial freedom doesn't give you. It doesn't give you recognition. Nobody looks at your brokerage account and says, "I'm impressed." Your friends aren't calling to ask about your index fund allocation. There's no viral moment in automating a monthly transfer. No one's going to like and share the screenshot of you not buying something. Which means this path requires something harder than money. It requires you to know you're winning while every signal around you is saying otherwise. The scoreboard your coworkers use doesn't have a column for net worth. It has a column for car, watch, and square footage. You have to build your own scoreboard. And then you have to be okay with being the only one who sees it. Marcus is in the elevator. The guy with the BMW asks why he's still driving that old car. Marcus shrugs. Still runs fine.
Nobody in that elevator knows Marcus's still runs fine is funding a portfolio larger than most of their combined annual salaries. And Marcus doesn't need him to. That's not a flex. That's what freedom actually looks like. The question isn't when you finally arrive. The question is, when you get there and nobody notices, are you solid enough to keep going anyway? If you're on this path, whatever step you're on right now, drop it in the comments. And if this video said the thing you've been thinking but couldn't put into words, you already know what to do.